Monken said QB1 is TBD, but what Shedeur Sanders said next, nobody was ready for that.
Have you talked to Todd Monken?
Yeah.
You have?
Coach Monken's, he's real cool.
Tell me about that.
It was cool. We had a brief interaction. Honestly, the fact that I have this mindset that I'm able to handle pretty much anything, So I'm just thankful to be here. I'm thankful to have Coach Monken and being able to connect with him and get his perspective of ball and see how he sees the game. So I want to do everything I want to do the same, but I want to take it a little deeper.
He's reportedly said this morning that your role is to be determined. What's your reaction to that? What does that mean to you when you hear that?
I mean, that's what's expected. That's what's expected. I think each and every day I have to prove to everybody and to myself also. So it's kind of like having goals and accomplishing those goals, whether it's small goals, and the small goals will end up to long-term success. So it's kind of like just hit your landmarks on what you need to do. Focus more in depth on everything, on what you want to, and just be in control of your life and what you can control.
I'll start right off the bat with the question probably everybody wants to know. Will you head into this offseason with Shedeur Sanders as your QB1? And if not, what is your approach to the whole quarterback situation as you move into your new job?
Well, I think like any position on the team, that's still to be determined. Am I excited about Shedeur? Am I excited about all the quarterbacks in the room? Am I excited to coach this football team? Absolutely. I can't wait for them to get back and for us to get started.
Let me tell you something that most people are completely sleeping on right now. Todd Monken, brand new head coach of the Cleveland Browns, sits down for his very first press conference. First question out of the gate, will Shedeur Sanders be your QB1? And he says, that's still to be determined. The internet exploded. Browns fans panicked. Doubters started sharpening their knives. But then, Shedeur Sanders opened his mouth. And what came out of it? That right there is what this video is all about. Because his answer, it didn't just silence the haters, it revealed who this young man truly is. And if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, you need to see this right now. Before we dive in, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now and smash that notification bell, because on this channel, we don't do clickbait, we do facts. And the facts today, they are fire. Now, let's get into it.
It says here, Todd Monken was the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Georgia when Shedeur had an offer from them. What a coincidence that Monken was also the OC when the Baltimore Ravens wanted to draft Shedeur Sanders. I'm just telling you, you can do with that what you will.
All right, so here's the context everybody needs to understand. Shedeur Sanders was drafted by the Cleveland Browns in the 5th round of the 2024 NFL Draft, when scouts, analysts, and basically the entire NFL world said he should have gone in the 1st round. He got blackballed. Everybody with eyes could see it. And yet, this kid showed up, put in the work, made the Pro Bowl, and earned the respect of players across the entire league. Then, the Browns make a massive move. They bring in Todd Monken as their new head coach, and immediately, day one of his tenure, the Cleveland media is already circling. Mary Kay, one of the most prominent reporters covering the Browns, walks right up to Monken at his introductory press conference and asks him flat out, will you head into this offseason with Shedeur Sanders as your QB1? Now, for context, that is a loaded question. That's not just a football question. That question carries the weight of everything Shedeur has been through. The draft slide, the disrespect, the doubt, every single person who said he didn't belong in this league. That question was really asking, does this new coach see Shedeur Sanders for what he is? And Monken's answer? He said, and I quote, that's still to be determined. Social media lost its mind. Browns fans were confused. Some people started writing the obituary for Shedeur's time in Cleveland before it even really began. But hold on, because this story, it goes so much deeper than that soundbite. Here's what the mainstream media is not telling you, and this is where it gets real interesting. Todd Monken was the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Georgia when Shedeur Sanders received an offer from them coming out of high school. Think about that. Monken saw this kid when he was just a teenager and wanted him. But wait, it gets better. When Monken was the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, the Ravens reportedly wanted to draft Shedeur Sanders. Let me say that again. Todd Monken was at Baltimore when Baltimore tried to draft Shedeur, and now he's the head coach of the team where Shedeur plays. This is not a coincidence. This is not luck. This is a pattern. Todd Monken has been chasing Shedeur Sanders for years. High school recruitment, the draft, and now as a head coach. The universe kept finding a way to bring these two together, and now they're finally in the same building. And if you need any more proof, just watch their first interaction when they finally met face to face. Monken looked at Shedeur and said, "You know we tried to draft your ass last year," and they both just laughed. That right there, that's not a coach talking to just another player on his roster. That's a man talking to someone he's believed in for a long time.
Well, I'm just going to start with personality traits. I mean, when you talk about who's going to lead this team, who has the it factor, who has those characteristics that the team wants to follow and believes in them because the ball's in their hand every down. This game's going to come down to 2-minute situations, 4-minute situations where you've got to be able to execute at a high level. And we're just talking about some of the characteristics that you're looking for, let alone some of the physical traits that...
Now, let me show you something else. Because while Mary Kay was asking the "Is he QB1" question, another reporter asked Monken a different question, and his answer told you everything. The reporter asked, "As a former quarterback, what specific traits are you looking for in a quarterback?" And Monken said, and pay close attention here, it starts with personality traits. Who has the IT factor? Who has the characteristics that a team wants to follow and believes in because the ball is in their hands every single down? The IT factor. Now, I want you to sit with that for a second. When you look at this Cleveland Browns quarterback room, you've got Deshaun Watson, who hasn't played meaningful football in years, and whose situation is complicated to say the least. You've got Dylan Gabriel, who nobody on this earth truly believes is the answer long term, and then you've got Shedeur Sanders. Who in that room has the IT factor? You watch Shedeur at the Pro Bowl, and the way other NFL players are gravitating toward him, laughing with him, hyping him up, that's not manufactured. That's real. These are grown men who play this game for a living, and they respect Shedeur Sanders. He has that rare magnetic quality that you simply cannot coach. You either have it or you don't. Todd Monken knows this. He's known it for years. That's why "to be determined" was the smart answer publicly, but in his heart, that determination was already made a long time ago. Okay, this is the part of the video I need everybody to hear, because after Monken said Shedeur's role was TBD, Kay Adams sat down with Shedeur and asked him point blank, "Todd Monken said this morning your role is TBD. What's your reaction to that?" And what did Shedeur say? He didn't get defensive. He didn't throw a tantrum on social media. He didn't run to ESPN to cry about it. He said, "That's what's expected. Each and every day, I have to prove it to everybody and to myself. Hit your small goals. Hit your landmarks. Focus in depth on everything. Be in control of what you can control." Standing ovation. Period. People, do you understand who this young man is? This is Deion Sanders' son. He has been under a microscope his entire life, reality television as a kid. His father was one of the most polarizing athletes in NFL history. When Deion took the HBCU route at Jackson State, all eyes were on this family. When they went to Colorado, all eyes were on this family. When Shedeur got dropped to the 5th round, despite being a first-round talent, All eyes were on this family. And through all of that, this young man has never cracked. Not once. He didn't say, I deserve to be QB1. He didn't say, this is unfair. He said, I'm going to earn it every single day, one goal at a time. That is the mentality of a franchise quarterback. That is the mentality of a leader. That is the answer of a man who has been tested by fire his entire life and came out the other side stronger every single time. Here's what I truly believe, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Shedeur Sanders is not doing this for the money.
What's your reaction to that? What does that mean to you when you hear that?
I mean, that's what's expected. You know, that's what's expected. I think each and every day I have to prove to everybody and to myself also. So it's kind of like having goals and accomplishing those goals, whether it's small goals, and the small goals will end up to long-term success. So it's kind of like just hit your landmarks on what you need to do. Focus more in depth on everything on what you want to and just be in control of your life.
Think about it. This man had NIL deals in college worth millions. He's got a massive Nike contract. He has one of the biggest social media followings of any athlete in his age group. He was literally in Paris for Fashion Week. This man does not need football money. He is playing because he loves this game. He is playing because he wants to prove something, not to the doubters, but to himself. And maybe, most beautifully of all, he's playing to show his father that everything Dion poured into him was worth it, that the sacrifices, the spotlight, the pressure, it all led somewhere real. Being Dion's son could have been the greatest gift or the greatest curse. For a lot of kids in that situation, the weight of a legendary parent's shadow crushes them. But Shedeur, he has used it as fuel. And now, with Todd Monken, a coach who has wanted to work with him since he was in high school, finally in his corner, the pieces are all there. The Cleveland Browns fan base already loves this kid. They show up for him. They believe in him. And when Shedeur Sanders steps onto that field as QB1, and I believe with everything in me that he will, he is going to put Cleveland back on the map. Not because of his last name, but because of his work, his character, his mindset. Look, at the end of the day, Todd Monken can say to be determined all he wants publicly. That's just smart coaching. You protect your players. You don't hand out titles in January. But the evidence is clear. A coach who tried to recruit you in high school, tried to draft you in the NFL, and now finally has you on his roster, that's not coincidence. That's destiny. And Shedeur Sanders, instead of pouting, instead of demanding answers, gave the most composed, mature, and powerful response any quarterback could give. He said, I'm going to earn it. That's your QB1, Cleveland. That is your franchise quarterback. And the rest of the NFL is going to find out real soon. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you believe Shedeur Sanders is the QB1 for the Cleveland Browns going into next season? Drop your answer in the comments below. Let's talk about it. And if you got value from this video, if this gave you chills like it gave me, please do me a favor. Hit that like button, share this video with every Browns fan you know, and if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting on? Hit subscribe, smash that notification bell, because we are dropping heat on this channel all season long. This is the G Sports Nation, where we preach sports. God bless. Peace.